Und was ist mit JLO?
Die kenne ich nicht.
Ups.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's George again, and today we are going to talk about JLo's halftime Netflix documentary. So I finally got around to watching it yesterday and I thought it was really great. A lot of people don't like the Netflix documentaries when it comes to like celebrities or pop stars because they think it's just inauthentic and it's a way for their PR team to kind of like sway the public to make the artists look favorable in a favorable light. Okay, so let's get into it, bitch.
Yeah, get into it!
If you have been living under a fucking rock and you don't know who Jennifer Lopez is, or JLo.
My name is Jennifer.
Jennifer?
Yeah, I used to live and then my room was upstairs right there. Jennifer Lopez.
Who's Jennifer Lopez?
Me!
Jennifer Lynn Lopez was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. She is one of the highest paid Latina actresses in Hollywood of all time. She has sold 80 million records worldwide, has starred in 40 films and grossed over 3 billion with those films. And in 2011, she was the world's most beautiful woman per People magazine. But I mean, I feel like that's a given. For me, I feel like her introduction was Selena, but she also has other films that I enjoyed. Like I thought Enough was a great film, Monster-in-Law. My personal favorite being The Wedding Planner. I thought that was such an iconic film. But she's also a style icon. I mean, did you guys not remember the fucking Versace green dress? Where I was when she came out with the X-Files guy and the Grammys, and she fucking shut it down. Like no one remembers like the Grammys, but they do remember that fucking dress. Yeah, I'm even like doing a very like Miami inspired shirt for my OOTD. It's Primark. I know, fast fashion, don't cancel me. But when I was in London, like I was like, what's Primark, blah 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 blah. I didn't know anything about Primark, so I went in the store with my friend and we got some stuff. But it was basically like a British version of like Forever 21, but I didn't know that, so sorry. I'm against fast fashion, but don't cancel me. It's a nice shirt though, very Miami. I mean, we're doing a documentary review on the Queen of Miami, so it's only fitting. And I would venture out to say that like she is such an entrepreneur. Like she is one of the first celebrities to put out a fragrance. I mean, Glow by JLo is such an iconic fragrance, and now I feel like every celebrity has a fragrance.
Shoot some up and I'll get it.
The documentary Halftime is essentially a reflection piece about JLo, and it runs an hour and 36 minutes in Netflix. It essentially talks about like her struggles in the industry, how Hustlers, her movie, didn't get the accolades that it deserved, and as well as her struggle with trying to keep her Super Bowl halftime show authentic and to her liking. It gives a viewer a real sense of how hard it is to get older and to stay relevant after 30, especially for a woman in Hollywood. In an article titled Rhinestone Cowboy, Alzheimer's Celebrity and the Collusions of Self by Scott Selberg from the Johns Hopkins University Press, Selberg writes, Heather Addison argues that Hollywood offers two primary narratives with regard to age. First, fetishizing youth, and second, the impossible battle to maintain that youth through a narrative of tragic decline. He also adds that recognizably older women have traditionally been excluded from central roles in Hollywood film. I mean, fucking duh. Like, even JLo said in her documentary, there was a point in time where she was not getting knocks on her door to star in movies. It's crazy that she's 50 years old because she does not look 50 years old, and she's still relevant in this industry today. It's so much harder to stay relevant in Hollywood after 30, but I think JLo keeps reinventing herself and trying to stay relevant, and I feel like so far she's doing a good job, but she's still struggling. JLo also went on to say that back in the day when Selena was released and it became such a success, that she felt like out of place, because if you look in 1997, you know, some of the biggest stars were like Sandra Bullock, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Demi Moore, and Julia Roberts. And like, if you think about, all those women were like stick thin Caucasian women. So it's understandable that JLo has always felt like she was not good enough, or she didn't fit the mold, because she really didn't. But it's funny because nowadays with this fucking BBL pandemic that is going on, if you live under a rock, a BBL is a Brazilian butt lift, and everyone and their mother is getting that.
So I got on my flight today, and everyone seated around me just had surgery. They didn't know each other. Remember, ladies, if you're getting a BBL, don't forget about the flight home. Pack something comfy for your knees.
It's essentially a cosmetic procedure where you go under the knife to achieve a type of hourglass figure. It's funny because back in the day, I remember like everyone from like David Letterman and those type of late night hosts making fun of JLo and her butt. She was like the butt of every joke. I know, I'm so fucking hilarious. But nowadays, you know, everyone wants that look because of JLo and like Beyonce and like the Kardashians. So it's like, it's funny how like looks and beauty standards change. So staying with the Hollywood theme, one of the main topics in Halftime, the documentary, is JLo not getting the accolades for Hustlers. So Hustlers is a movie starring JLo, Constance Wu from Crazy Rich Asians, Keke Palmer, Lizzo, and also Cardi B.
Oh my God! What is that?
And they all play a bunch of strippers who essentially steal money from CEOs and rich white guys when they come to their strip club by taking their credit cards and charging whatever they want, which is kind of genius. But JLo got a lot of praise for her role. You know, a lot of people in the press said that this is like the best they've seen JLo acting in such a long time. She got a ton of positive reviews. After it premiered, I believe, in the Toronto Film Festival. The movie itself got a lot of positive reviews and grossed $157.6 million. She even got a well-deserved Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actress. A lot of people said that she was a front runner to win that Golden Globe for Hustlers, but she ended up not winning it. And there's a part in the movie where I just felt so bad for her. Like, I felt like shedding a tear. Like, it was so, like, it was like someone, like, punched me in my gut. There's a part where it was Gwyneth Paltrow, Miss fucking Goop herself.
And there we go, guys. It's time for me to get in bed. This has been fun.
It's her team watching in the hotel room during the award ceremony for the Golden Globes, and Gwyneth Paltrow is announcing the best supporting actress nominees. And essentially, when she's done saying, you know, who the winner is, and the winner is not JLo and it's Laura Dern, you could just feel JLo's team just so like...
And the Golden Globe goes to Laura Dern.
Sad and disappointed, and it was like, it just like awful. Like, you could feel the energy in the room was just like, why didn't she win? Like, she deserved this. JLo finally comes into the hotel room and you can just see her disappointment in her face. Like, she herself was holding back tears. Like, she was just so disappointed that she didn't get it. She felt like she had a real chance.
I really thought I had a chance. Felt like I let everybody down.
She kept it together like a real boss bitch does, but you could see her manager Benny Medina just like wanting to cry too, because he knows like how hard she worked for this. Hustlers really put her name back into the races for like these prestigious awards, and you know, for her to be a front runner and not be able to get the award, like it's like a punch in the gut. In a 2020 Los Angeles Times article, author Christy Karras wrote of JLo during an interview with Oprah, "Most of my team has been with me for years, 25 years, and I think they had a lot of hopes on that. They wanted it too," she told Winfrey. "I felt like I let everybody down a little bit." I think that says a lot about JLo for her to say something like that. You know, it shows that she's still human. It shows that she still cares about what people think. And to say that she felt like she let everybody down shows that she knows that what she does, whether it's music or television or whatever, movies, that it's a team effort. And it's like a positive symbiotic relationship. As her team like helps her to, you know, be the best that she can be, she also wants to give them, you know, the results, the wins, credits, because she doesn't want to just be a pretty face. So fast forward, the documentary progresses and JLo and her team, you know, they inch closer to the Oscars, which is, if you're an actor, like that's the one you want to win, obviously. Golden Globes are great too, SAG Awards are great too, but if you want to win an award for your acting, it would be the Oscars. A lot of people thought that she was a shoo-in to get at least nominated for Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars, but she didn't. But are we really surprised though? Like, let's really look into what Hustlers is about. Like, Hustlers is a movie of a bunch of women, a bunch of colored women, might I add, that take down a bunch of rich white men. I mean, hashtag me too, hashtag down with the patriarchy. And hashtag we are all the granddaughters of all the witches you didn't burn. Anyway, I fucking hate that slogan. Everyone, like, and their mother is wearing, like, t-shirts on Etsy with that slogan, and, like, it's a great slogan, but they just played it out. But anyway, I digress. The movie already doesn't put men in a good light, but when you start targeting the white cis males of the world, then the shit really hits the fan. In a 2020
Washington
Post article, Rachel Sklar wrote, "Considering that 68% of the Academy voting body are men, that might not have landed too favorably. Notably, Hustlers also centers women of color, which the Academy demonstrated little enthusiasm for this year, perhaps related to the fact that 71% of the Academy voting body is white." It's just upsetting because I feel like when Hustlers came along, it really showcased JLo's acting and her acting ability. A lot of people write her off with her acting because of, you know, movies like Geely and Jersey Girl, which we'll forgive her, it's fine. You know, there's always a blip in everyone's career. There's not going to be a lot more opportunities like this for JLo as she's getting older, and so when she doesn't get nominated for an Oscar for her Best Supporting Role in Hustlers, it really is almost like felt like a last shot for her. You know, I'm not saying that JLo can't do it again, but for her, I feel like it's hard to prove herself when it comes to acting.
Even get anybody to represent me as an actor. And I was like, no, I'm an actor. Seriously, no, I'm an actress. They're like, you're a dancer. I'm like, no, I'm an actress.
Another main storyline for JLo's halftime was the actual halftime performance that the title of the documentary is based on. You know, because this was a huge halftime performance, and it honestly was one of my favorites. I think that she's just such a skilled performer, such an amazing dancer, one of the most amazing dancers of my generation, I would say. But what I didn't like, they tried to like pin JLo and Shakira together. You know, I didn't like that, but I mean, am I surprised? Like, they always pin female pop stars against each other, so that's nothing new.
It's not gonna happen. Start doing the whole process of recording, and it's just seeming to take a long time.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and it's very important that it be right.
In the process of all of this, there's these other two girls that are starting to come out.
We knew that, you know, there was a girl named Brittany coming out.
And we flip on MTV and we see this cute little girl with these great big brown eyes. That girl looks really familiar. Oh my gosh, that's the girl from the Mickey Mouse Club.
And we knew there was a girl named Christina coming out.
She goes, boy, this girl can sing. It's Christina Aguilera. And I looked at Jessica and I'm like, oh, that's the girl!
It's almost like you could be viewed as following in their shadow, like you're still trying to keep up.
It was just difficult to watch these other girls have success when, you know, she was waiting for that as well.
There's a clip in the documentary where JLo is talking on her cell phone and she's trying to convince, I think it was one of the NFL big shots, that she needs to extend the time of the performance because it's not enough time. And she's trying to tell them,
I'm trying to give you something
I'm
with
trying
substance.
to give you something with substance, not just us out there shaking our fucking asses and fucking belly dancing. And apparently the media took that as like a dig to Shakira, because we all know Shakira is a great belly dancer. But for me, I didn't even like get that sense of like a snub to Shakira. But if you look at all like the media headlines, it was like JLo takes a jab at Shakira and JLo snubs Shakira during documentary, blah, 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 blah. JLo can carry a halftime performance on her own. Like, they never should have had two for performers. They never should have had JLo and Shakira. It should have been just JLo or just Shakira. JLo doesn't need someone else on the stage to, you know, keep the attention of the audience going. Like, she just doesn't. Like, she can do that all on her own. So she got a lot of flack for when she said it was like the worst fucking idea to have two performers. And I agree with that. It just came off like kind of like diva-ish, and like that's why people didn't like what she said, but like what she said was true. Another huge controversy with her Super Bowl halftime performance was the girls in the cages. It was kind of like her jab back to President Trump, and the little girls were all dressed in white and sitting in like a lit up, what looked like a flower essentially, but it was her kind of way of saying what's going on in the border is not right. In a 2020 New York Times article titled "At the Super Bowl, the Political Was Debatable," Julia Jacobs writes, "Some viewers interpreted the structures as representing children in cages, a reference to the Trump's administration's practice of detaining migrant children separately from their parents." I remember when news broke out of these like ICE detainment centers, it was very heartbreaking to see like these type of pictures. And there's a lot of things, like I don't want to get political or anything, but there's a lot of things you shouldn't do. And stripping away, you know, a child who is in a foreign country, who is already vulnerable, and stripping them away from their parents is a very like unnecessary thing to do. And I think that JLo wanted to put that in perspective, but not like shoving it in your fucking throat, but doing it in a way that was still artistic but still getting her message across. And I felt like she did. It's funny because there's a part in the documentary where the NFL wanted to stop JLo from using those lit up cages in her performance. Like the day before the performance, I think Benny Medina like gets a call saying that they're trying to scrap the cages. They don't want it. And JLo was like, no, like I don't care like what's gonna happen. We're using the cages, and I'm happy that she put her foot down and she, you know, did what she thought was the right thing to do. In regards to the NFL wanting to scrap that, are we not surprised? Like, obviously they would want to fucking scrap it. Like, hello, like, look who they are voting for. In a 2020 Newsweek article titled, "Which NFL Owners Support Donald Trump? List of Those Who Have Donated to the President," Dan Cansian writes, "Trump has often boasted about his friendship with the New England Patriots owner, whose company donated approximately $1 million to Trump's inaugural committee." Cansian also listed Los Angeles Rams owner Stan Kroenke donated another $1 million to Trump's inaugural committee. Shad Khan, owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, also donated $1 million, and on and on and on, and 6 other NFL owners who donated to Trump and his political agenda. So of course the NFL wanted to scrap that. But wait, there's fucking more. So Colin Kaepernick, a former San Francisco 49ers player, he became famous for kneeling during the national anthem in order to protest what was going in the country as far as social injustices and police brutality. Anyway, Kaepernick argues he was basically exiled from the NFL because of his stance on social injustice and how the police were treating people who were African American. Most of the NFL owners of the teams are Republican, and that's not you know, you can find that out in the internet. That's not like new fucking news. He felt like they colluded to keep him on the bench and not play, and he hasn't played since 2016. I did do some research and that he might be playing for the Raiders soon. He settled out of court and he got awarded $10 million for that grievance. So this has to do because fast forward, the NFL wanted to do some damage control. They wanted to kind of do some damage control, so they hired Jay-Z and his company Rock Nation to essentially help public relations with the NFL. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna try to fix a scandal of any sort, I could only think of one person who is right for the job and will always be right for the job. No, I'm just kidding. Well, am I? I don't know. In an article called Jay-Z's Rock Nation Entering Partnership with NFL, the NFL stated on their website, where the article can be found, Rock Nation, the entertainment company founded by rapper and businessman Sean Jay-Z Carter, is entering into a multiplayer partnership with the NFL to enhance the NFL's live game experiences and to amplify the league's social justice effort. I feel like the media and the people saw right through this. A lot of people thought it was a joke because the whole thing can be looked as extremely problematic and chaotic, especially because Jay-Z is such a huge proponent in social justice and change for better and racial equality. Him and his company Rock Nation have been involved by using like film and arts in order to highlight racial injustice and things of that nature. In a Vox News 2019 article titled "The Controversy Surrounding Jay-Z's Partnership with the NFL Explained," PR Lock wrote, "They, the critics, argue that the rapper, who has long funded impactful social justice causes and has used his platform to praise Kaepernick's protest, is disregarding the fact that the NFL has still not signed Kaepernick to a team." So it's like people were feeling like, Jay-Z, you know, you're supporting Colin Kaepernick, you're, you know, the head guy when it comes to social injustice and change and the betterment for Americans, and you are now part of the same group, the NFL, that purposely sidelined Colin Kaepernick in 2016 for taking a stance against social injustice. So it just felt like for people to see this, it almost felt like, Jay-Z, like, why are you doing this? With Jay-Z on board at the NFL, his job was also to oversee the entertainment of the NFL. That also included the Super Bowl. In the documentary, JLO was obviously not happy with the Trump administration and the handling of the border crisis, so she essentially, you know, did what she did with the cages. Allegedly, Rock Nation told her, Jay-Z as well, told JLO that she needs to scrap the cages as well, but she ultimately didn't, which I'm glad she didn't. But tensions also ran high because Shakira is also signed to Rock Nation, and she is a Rock Nation artist. She was allegedly told not to perform with JLo during the song Born in the USA, and she didn't. She just did the drums. There's also a picture of Jay-Z and Beyonce not standing up during the national anthem, so it's like there's still NFL team owners who are big Trump supporters, and you can't change how somebody thinks if they don't want to change, you know? Just because Jay-Z is like doing PR and just because Rock Nation is trying to help steer the NFL in a more positive light when it comes to social injustice, it doesn't mean that they actually believe in what they're doing. All right, guys, if you guys stayed till the very end of this, thank you. I know it was really long, but I just felt like I really did enjoy this documentary. I've always been a fan of JLo. Like, I have On the 6th, such an iconic album. I thought Rebirth was such a great album as well. I loved like almost every song on that album. JLo is such a multi-talented, iconic star, you know? I hope that you guys have a great day, and if you have a chance to go watch Halftime, I think you'll be thoroughly entertained by it. But I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!